Hi, how's it going? My name's Joe. Just a quick use case for recruiters here if they want to use Clay to basically scrape jobs throughout their total addressable market and run it on like a daily schedule and then push the jobs that are found as a notification to wherever you want. You could use the data to automatically outreach to a decision maker at the company. You could send it to yourself as a notification in Slack or via email. Really, like whatever you want to do, this table is going to allow you to take a key list of companies that you're currently working on, or maybe if you want to import your key accounts into here, if you have like 50 really key accounts that you always want to be constantly checking when they're posting jobs. Maybe it's just one account, like could literally just be one key account that you want to monitor and constantly run on a schedule for and see if they're posting jobs. This table will be helpful for you to just understand how to set this up in Clay. So to get to this point, what I've done in Clay, very simple. When you first come into the Clay dashboard, you'll see a big button that will say Find Companies. So the Find Companies feature it's very simple. It's just like your standard firmographics that you can type in to just find a list of companies. And to get to this point as well, you don't have to actually go and find the companies. If you already have the companies in your CRM, like Loxo, whatever, then you can just export them out of Loxo and put them into a Clay table, either via CSV or using the integration between Loxo and Clay. So whatever CRM you're currently using, wherever you currently have data stored, just import it into a Clay table. You just want to make sure that you have the website domain and then also the LinkedIn URL as well. So in this particular use case, I've already, for the sake of this video, gone and built a list of companies. So this is just an example list of outdoor companies. And what I want to look for is I want to create a schedule that will constantly look for if any of these companies is currently hiring a store manager. So really specific job title. And I want to show you like how if you're a really niche recruiter and you're looking to place maybe one or two specific roles, you can set up a criteria within Clay to search for these jobs on a schedule and then push that as a notification to yourself via email. So this is just an example list of 680 outdoor companies in the UK, and what I'm looking for is a very specific role, which is the store manager. So all that I've done is I've added an enrichment, I've typed in jobs, and then I've gone to find active job openings here. Within here, I've just set up a very basic criteria. So I'm looking here for jobs that are posted on the company's website. You can also use the LinkedIn URL as well. I'd recommend potentially looking at doing a waterfall. So first try the domain and then try the LinkedIn URL. And to do that, just create like a separate module and just run both. But yeah, for the sake of this video, I'm going to be using the website domain. And what I then want to do is use Clay. I want to search for a very specific job title. So the job title keywords in this case, I'm looking for only store managers, right? Location's obviously in the UK, but you can't even set it to the specific like location of the place as well if you really want to. And then you can see I'm not really bulking out any of the other criteria here. You can filter this down however much you want to, but the use case here is that I'm looking for a very specific job across a big list of my key accounts, and I just want to run that on a schedule to constantly find new jobs that are getting posted. So what I'll do is I'm going to save this, and you can see that I've already had a few jobs that have been found up here, right? So what I can do is I can just set up a very basic notification now that when a title of when a job that matches my criteria is found, I can then push this as a notification to wherever I want it to go, right? So what I'll do first is I'm just going to show you like how this column works and how we can run it on a schedule. So you can see here a massive advantage of Clay is that if a job isn't found, you won't actually be charged any credits, right? So you'll only be charged credits if jobs are found, and you'll only be charged like 1 credit even if you have like 10 jobs that are found as well, which is a huge advantage because it means that it makes a lot more sense to run this column on a schedule like every day. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this entire column so we can see, we can find basically as many jobs as we can that match our criteria. And what I'm going to show you now is how we're going to set this up to run this on a daily schedule. So if you click the settings icon here, you can see you have this option down below to run the table on a schedule. And what you can do is then set this to whatever frequency you want. So if you want to look for jobs in your key accounts every day, then you can just set it to run this table every day. And then what you want to do is you want to select the option here that says only selected columns, and then put in the find active jobs column. And I'll just go for that little bit of text there. And then what we can do is we can save the changes here. Don't worry about this, because it won't actually cost you this much. This is just like the estimated number. If Clay's basically saying that if we find a job for every single row in our table, this is how much it will cost. But you can see here, like I showed you, if a job isn't found, then you won't actually be charged any credits, right? So you can just save these changes to run this on a schedule every day to find active job openings. So we can save the changes there. And then this table will now run every single day, and it will find store managers for us, okay? So I'm just going to now show you how we can then set up a notification for how we can push this information into somewhere that we can actually utilize. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do to push these jobs into a notification for you is we're going to first create another table. So I've called this one found jobs. And then what we're going to do, click on to the module here. So just click onto one that has had some jobs that have been found. Hover over this function and then press take action on list. And then you want to press write each item to new row in other table. And when you click that, a module like this is going to come up. And then what you want to do is in the add values from objects, you first want to obviously select a list. So in here, you just need to put the jobs. Like there'll be a list that looks like this, put the jobs. Press add values from objects in find active job openings. And then you just want to map all of the columns that you want to push into this table. So for example, in here, I've got the title, company name, job URL, location, when it was posted, the description, and the employment type. And you then just want to map all of these columns into a new table that looks like this. Now, you don't have to actually create the columns first. What you can do, like say for example, if I wanted to push, I don't know, the location, right? Then all that I need to do, even though let's just pretend I don't have the location set up, I can then just press new column and then it will auto map it for me. So that's just a quick tip. You don't actually have to create the table, the columns that you want in the other table. You can just like create them as you go in here. And then what you want to do is run that enrichment. So save all the rows, run the column. And then what will happen is in your other table, you will then just get a big list of jobs that populate. And the use case for this, right, is that sometimes you'll find more than one job on the company's website. And obviously here, here we're only going to get notified once. So we don't want to set up the notification in this table because we won't be able to know all of the jobs that have actually been found. We'll only be able to know one, if that makes sense. So we need to set this up and push it to another table so that then we can get a big list of all the jobs that are found. And then that's what we're going to take action on to then push into an email. So what we can then do is for all of these jobs that have been found, we're then going to push them all into a table that looks like this. And you might be thinking, right, because this is going to run on a daily schedule, obviously I don't want the same jobs being populated in here and then me being notified about like the same job every day, you know, and then you just have like a big notification of a load of duplicates of the same job, right? So the way to go around this is in Clay you have what's called auto de-dupe, and what you can do is auto de-dupe this table on the job URL column. The reason that I'd recommend the job URL is because this is unique to every job. So for example, the description you can see here, even though these are different jobs, Go Outdoors has just the same description for each of the jobs. So we don't want to use that because it's not going to be unique to every job. We can use the job URL here to make sure that it's unique to every single job that comes into this table. So what will happen is when we're running this on a daily schedule, obviously tomorrow, right, this is going to this is going to pick up the same 3 jobs that it did today. So we don't want to push those jobs into this table again because we've already got them in here. Does that make sense? So we're auto de-duping this table on the job URL itself so that we're only going to pull the jobs into here that are actually unique, right? So this is just a way to clean your data to make sure that every notification that you get is going to be a current job, and they're all going to be unique basically. So what we can then do is we can set up a column in here, and I'm going to show you now how we can push these out as a notification over to your email. Okay, so from this table what we now need to do is obviously push these jobs into somewhere, right? So for the sake of this video I'm going to be using Slack. If you want this set up in something like an email, if you'd rather have them pushed to somewhere else, then you can look at doing that as well. It will just take some extra steps, maybe with something like mate.com or N8N or Zapier or whatever. You just need to integrate like a third party in to actually make that work. But for the sake of this video I'm going to show you like the easiest step that we use to push this into. So right now we've got the De-Dupe set up, and now we need to push these jobs into somewhere so that you know when they've been posted. So what I would recommend doing is using Slack and then using this module here. So send message to a channel. What you can then do is you can integrate your Slack API key. It's really easy to do. You could just add your account and then go through the Slack sign-in process, and Clay will do this all for you. You can call your bot name, in this case I'll call it job helper, pull an emoji. So I'll just use this one. The Slack channel, what we can then do is, I just created a Slack channel called posted jobs. The summary, so what I would then recommend doing, so this is just the text in the message, right? So what I'd recommend doing is using this in Clay. So you can pull in the company column, right? And I'd call it something like company name, posted a new title role. So the way this is going to come up, it will be go outdoors, just posted, or potentially we'll call it just posted, but I'll keep it like this for now. Go outdoors, posted a new store manager role, right? And then that's the fields that we then pull in. For the form information, what we then want to do is run the company name, and then we're just going to map all of these columns together. So I won't make you watch this, I'll just show you the final bit. So one thing that I wouldn't recommend doing is actually mapping the description into here. What I'd recommend doing instead is just pulling the job URL, pushing that into the notification, and then you can just click into the URL and then see the job description from there. So just an important note on that, I wouldn't recommend using the description because it'll be too many characters and the payload will mess up when you add it to Slack. But here we've got the finished columns. So now all I need to do, just press save, and I'm going to show you how one of these will look. So I'm going to send this through now, and then we'll just go over to Slack and check this out. Okay, and then this is what the notification looks like in the Slack channel. So you can see we've got the company name, posted a new store manager role, company name, date posted, employment type, job location, job title, and the job URL that you can then just click into and add to your CRM, whatever you want to do. Again, for the sake of this video, I just wanted to show you like the notification. If you want this to be an email, if you want to send it to somewhere else, then you can definitely do that. Again, it will just take more steps. If you then want to sort of, find a way to like link this up to your CRM, then again, that's another step. And for the sake of this video, I didn't want to obviously include that and just confuse everybody. But hope that this has been helpful, just so you can see how you can set something up like this within Clay. To summarise, what we've achieved here is we've got the ability to build a list of our target companies, find key job roles that we're looking for on a daily schedule, push those jobs into another table, set up a De-Dupe to make sure that we're not getting the same job pushed through every time, and then push those jobs into a Slack channel like this to then get real-time notifications when a new job is found every day. So I hope this helps. If you've got any questions on it, feel free to reach out. Cheers.